If you are stuck chasing window cleaning jobs every single month, you're stuck in what I like to call the window cleaning rat race. And I know how it feels. You do a big month, you're excited, and then the first of that next month, you're like, oh, we got to do it over and over and over again. And what's the end? The end is service plans. You can literally knock doors for a year and set yourself up for life if you do it right. This video is for those who know how to sell one-time cleans, are good at it, but can't seem to properly and effectively transition from one-time cleans to service plans. My name is Austin Ortiz. I own H2O Bros, a window cleaning business out here in Palm Beach, Florida. We're on track to do over 7 figures in just under 2 years. Let's get into it. So the first, and honestly the most important, is you have to pretend one-time cleans just don't exist. Get them out of your head. You are now a business that solely sells window cleaning contracts. You have to almost be delusional in the beginning that you've never sold a one-time window clean in your entire life. The customer's going to feel that. Sales is a game of transfer of energy. And if you have an energy, like you still could sell a one-time clean, you're not going to sell as many service plans as you would if you didn't change your mindset to this. Okay, so the second thing with your mindset is you have to memorize your pricing. This is going to allow you to give the price in a confident tone. The reason you gotta have pricing so memorized is because you gotta sound confident. When you're selling a contract, you can't do anything at all that's going to give off the vibe that I can't trust this person. So I have this little price sheet. It's my little cheat sheet when I do the walk around to reference, okay, this home has X amount of windows. This is the quarterly price that I'm going to say. I've been having my guys in my community use this as well. We'll go more in depth with this later in the video, but this has been an absolute game changer for all the guys in my program. It just makes the sales process so much easier. While we have to get in the frame that one-time cleans don't exist, we have to expect the one-time clean objection. You're going to get it. And what the one-time clean objection looks like is they simply say, can you just clean my windows once? I don't want to do the service plan. The reason you have to expect this is because, again, it goes into your confidence in your tonality. If they say, can you just clean my windows once? And you're like, oh, well, we don't really do that. And then you word vomit, that's going to lose all the trust with the customer. We'll go over exactly how to overcome this objection later on in the video, but you have to get into the mindset before you ever go out and knock a door that the one-time clean objection will come up. And the last thing we got to do when getting into the right mindset is build rapport. With one-time cleans, it's very easy to just kind of brush over, get right to the price, and then get on with it. With a contract, with getting their credit card information, they have to trust you. They have to know you. They have to know what the company's about. They have to feel like this is someone that I don't just want to do a service once. I want them to do a service 4 times for the next year, and then so on and so forth. So if you don't take your time building rapport, they're not going to trust you, and you're just definitely not going to sell any service plans. So now let's get into how we sell these things on the door, the key differences for one-time cleans and service plans, and how to convert as many as possible. Something to note too, if you go out and you pitch 5 people one-time cleans and they all say yes, 1 in 5 out of those, if you pitch the service plan to, will simply say yes. The other 1 out of 5, it doesn't matter what your service plan looks like, they just don't want an agreement. They just want their windows cleaned once. And the other 3 out of 5, they're going to give you some sort of one-time clean objection, but if you know how to overcome it and you expect it, you can get these people on a service plan. So you've knocked the door, you give your initial pitch, and you get that first objection. So with one-time cleans, we've gone over how we're gonna get our foot into giving them a quote. With service plans, we're gonna actually use the price sheet to overcome that first objection and and allow us to get our foot in the door to give them a quote in the backyard. So say they hit you with, not interested, I'm good, man. On this price sheet, it shows our additional services with a dollar amount too. So the one I like to use is the protective coat, and it adds an extra $300 to that service. So they say, not interested, I'm good, man. Cool, yeah. And if we were just cleaning windows, I get out of here. We're not just cleaning, we're protecting. And then I pull out my price sheet, I take a step to them, get shoulder to shoulder, and show them exactly what that protective coat cost. Now this does 2 things. The first is it gets you shoulder to shoulder with them and you're showing them something, or they're gonna be way less likely to slam the door in your face because you're shoulder to shoulder with them, actually showing them something. The second thing it does is it puts an additional service to an actual dollar amount. And you're saying, Yeah, so this protective coat is usually an extra $300. But because we're doing it at Bob's tomorrow, we're just throwing that in for free. What I'll do is I'll just count everything up and give you a quote so you at least know what it would look like for tomorrow. Cool. I'll meet you in the backyard. And that leads us into our next thing. When you're given a one-time clean quote, you can give it at the front door. It really doesn't make a difference. When you're given a service plan quote and you're expecting them to sign an agreement and get their credit card information, you have to be in the backyard. What this does for the homeowner psychologically is have you perceive them like you're a guest in their home rather than they're getting sold. On the door, it's a very defensive mode. They probably have been sold other services there before. When they're in the backyard, right, you're a guest in their home. You could take a seat in their back patio, right? Get to know them. You could also use this as an opportunity to show your exact process on one of their windows in the backyard. And honestly, I'm not reinventing the wheel on this. The pest control industry, they only sell contracts, and they've been doing this for years, decades. And every single door-to-door pest control rep gives the quote in the backyard. Yeah, and they do this because of the reasons I explained. And so how we're gonna get to giving them the quote in the backyard is instead of, I'll just count it up and give you a quick price, you're just gonna say, I'll just count it up, give you a quick price, I'll meet you in the backyard. Which side of the home is the gate on? Now that you're in the backyard, right, this is very crucial. You have to build rapport before even touching on how you're doing the windows. And what building rapport looks like is a little different for everyone, right? Some people are gonna be pretty closed off. So you wanna ask them questions. You wanna give them that compliment that strikes a nerve and opens them up, right? I live out in Palm Beach, Florida. We have a lot of golfers out here. So something I'll do is I'll talk about golf. Also, I golf. So I know what common interests to talk about with them. And it really opens it up. I've seen it firsthand. They're like, oh, all they want to do is just talk about golf. So whether it's golf or something else about their backyard, their home, what they do for work, what their kids do, where their kids go to college, any sort of thing that can just humanize yourself with them is going to go a long way. Because again, guys, these people are signing a contract with you and you're getting their card information. They have to know and trust you before doing any of this. So now that we built rapport with them and they feel like, okay, this person actually trusts me, we're going to go into building value on our service. We're going to do this a little differently than the one-time clean. With one-time cleans, right, we just briefly explain how we do the windows. With this, we have to be very slow, very precise, enunciate our words, use the body language with eye contact, looking down at the windows, looking up at them to tell you that, okay, this person is engaged in what I'm talking about. And the most important part when we're building value is we're selling on the protective coat, right? The protective coat is going to make the service plan a no-brainer. So what I'm doing is I'm talking about the frames, the tracks, the sills, X, Y, and Z. And then when I get to the protective coat, I make sure to slow down, look up at them and say, so Bob, we don't just clean everything, we protect the windows as well. Like I said, that $300 extra, we're just throwing that in for free. So after we're done cleaning everything, we're gonna put a protective coat on all the glass, just gonna work like a rain jacket. So when water hits it or dirt hits it, it's just gonna bounce right off. I know, it's pretty insane. So the thing about that protective coat, Bob, is it lasts 3 months, right? So all your neighbors, all of our customers, they have us out every quarter to clean everything and then reapply that coat. So what I did here, right? What I did here is sell him on the protective coat and he's like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And then the service plan is just what the option is with the protective coat. And because that's what you do, it's just going to, again, make that service plan a no-brainer. So now we're about to give our price, right? We built value in the coat. We're now going to transition into giving them that price. So we're going to say, very similar to one-time clean, say, so typically, Bob, that initial clean for everything and application of the coat is usually $4.99. But because we're working at your neighbor's tomorrow, we're taking off $100. So if we can get you in tomorrow, we can do that initial clean for just $3.99. And then after that, right, we come back out every 3 months to clean everything and then reapply that coat. And then you just shut up. You're going to wait for Bob to give you an answer. He's down for the plan, or he's going to give you some sort of an objection. If he's down for the plan, he's going to say, okay, how much is it after the initial? Or he's just going to say yes, right? And at that point, whether he says, how much is it after the initial, or he just says yes, you're going to say, yep. And that quarterly price, right, on your little cheat sheet price sheet, let's just say it's a home of 30 to 40 windows. Quarterly price is $279. Yep. So Bob, after that $399, it's just going to be $279. And we come back out every quarter to clean everything and then reapply that coat. And then he says, great. And then you go ahead, pull up field routes, start typing in their info. So now we pull up our phone, get their info, generate the contract on field routes, 30 to 40 windows. They sign it. And then you ask for their credit card information in a very simple way. It's in the field routes video. If you haven't already watched that, make sure you go watch that. I go through exactly how to go through the agreement, how to explain the monthly billing, and getting their card information. But I just ask, yeah, is credit or debit better? We just need one for the text to come out. And if they say, I don't want to give my card. Yeah, we just have to have one on file for the text to come out. I learned this one from Mr. Mosey himself. If you just shake your head and say, that's just how we do it, they just go with it. Don't know why, they do. Now let's just say Bob says no, right? And he gives you some sort of the objection of, yeah, sounds good. Let me just check with my wife. Or, okay, yeah, sounds good. I'll let you know. Something along the lines of there's no urgency there. So this is how we're going to use the price sheet. Right, we've already used it to get our foot in the door to give them a quote. This is how we're going to use the price sheet to build urgency. So the one I like to pick on here is the 100% clean window guarantee. It's an extra $100. Right, so if he says, yeah, let me just check with my spouse, I'll sit there and I'll be like, well, Bob, might get in trouble for this, but if I can get you on the schedule tomorrow, right? We do 100% clean window guarantee. It's usually an extra $100. That's where you can call us out at any point during the year, even if we're not due to come out. If you notice anything at all on the windows or you're having a party, we'll come out and clean the windows at no cost to you. That's usually an extra $100. I'll throw that in for free if we can get you on for 2 p.m. tomorrow. Does that sound fair? Say it just like that. It's going to build urgency with Bob, and he's going to be like, all right, let's do it. If Bob gives you the objection, and this is the objection I got to point out, you will get a lot because Bob wants his windows clean. He just doesn't want the service plan. So he's going to say, can you just clean my windows once? I don't want to do the plan. Or, yeah, just do it this one time. I'll let you know about the plan. Or, yeah, you can clean my windows. I don't want the plan. Right? Some sort of one-time clean objection. Before giving the famous line that I use to close 70% of these service plans, you got to ask, is it the frequency of how often we come out, or is it the recurring charge? Bob's saying no for 2 reasons. He's saying no, he doesn't want you coming out every quarter. That's just way too frequent to get the windows clean. Or he just doesn't want to have a recurring charge for window cleaning. He just wants to pay it once and doesn't want to pay for window cleaning every 3 months. So if he says, I just don't feel like I need my windows cleaned every 3 months, we're going to downsell to a biannual. Again, we pull out our little cheat sheet, 30 to 40 windows, $294 for a biannual. Okay, yeah. No worries, Bob. Would it be better if we just came out every 6 months rather than every 3 months? He says yes. Cool. Yeah, so it would just be $294 every 6 months. Sound good? Cool. And then just go through. Right? Again, the crucial part is you're expecting this and you've rehearsed it, so that way it comes out very smooth, very confident. So the reason we downsell to a biannual and not just downsell to a one-time clean just yet, because it's still a service plan and it adds recurring revenue to our business. And again, by getting someone on the plan, it gives us the opportunity to earn this customer's business for life, right? We want to have Bob on a biannual service plan for the rest of the time he lives out in Florida. So now the most common objection you're going to hear, it's the recurring charge. I don't want to keep paying for window cleaning. Just clean my windows once. By expecting it and saying this exact line in this exact tone, we will convert. Again, 3 out of the 5 people that tell us this, we will convert them on a service plan. They hit us with that. So you're going to say it exactly like this. Shrug your shoulders. For that protective coat to work, we have to come out every quarter. What I'll do for you, done for some people in the past, is just put you on a 12-month trial. That way you can see how well the coat works. And for whatever reason, if you hate it, we can just part ways after. Does that sound fair with the head nod? Just like you did him a favor. I'll just put you on a 12-month trial, right? Done it in the past. I don't like to do it, but I'll just put you on a 12-month trial and that way you can see how it works. Does that sound fair? So what this is going to do, if you expect the one-time cleaning objection and you overcome it in this exact tonality, is it's going to diffuse all the pressure with the homeowner and let them know that they're not committed for window cleaning for the rest of their life. It's just a 12-month trial, right? Worst case scenario is they have windows that are clean and protected for the next year, and then for whatever reason, they can just cancel it after. And again, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I learned this line from one of my friends that does pest control, and it works like a charm. The next day I went out and had my best day, sold 8,500 in recurring contracts. Also, if you want the price sheet that I exactly use, I'll link it down below and you can copy and paste it. Remember how I said 5 one-time cleans, right? You have 5 people you sell one-time cleans to. 1 out of 5 will just be down for the plan. 3 out of 5, you can overcome that one-time clean objection and get them on the plan. But that still leaves 1 out of 5 one-time cleans that will be super adamant about not getting a contract signed. They don't want to give you the card info. They don't want to be even on a 12-month trial. They don't want any of it, right? But they're super adamant about getting their windows clean tomorrow. And I'm thinking of like 5 people off the top of my head that are like, dude, I want my windows clean. Like, clean my windows tomorrow. I'm just not going to do a contract. I'm just not going to do any sort of agreement. And because I was so stubborn on learning service plans and really, truly getting in my head that one-time cleans didn't exist, I had to walk away from these jobs. I was committed to learning the service plan pitch and how to overcome the one-time clean objection that I just walked away from these jobs. But I did that because there was no information out there for selling window cleaning contracts at the door. But now that I've done it and it works, right? Don't walk away from those one-time clean jobs. That's walking away from money. How to downsell to one-time cleans. To downsell to one-time cleans, you have to do it exactly like this. You have to make it seem like you're doing them a massive favor. And a little bonus, if you want to make a little extra scratch with one-time cleans, do it exactly like this. So you've gone to the 12-month trial line. They're like, nope, clean my windows tomorrow. I don't want a service plan. Kind of look around, look up, put my hands on my hips and say, you talk to the neighbors, Bob? No. Okay. Well, don't tell the neighbors. I'm really just trying to fill this last slot on the schedule tomorrow. Everyone's on a service plan. But usually, if I were to do a one-time clean, it'd be an extra $100. I'll just do it for an extra $50 and we'll get you on that last slot on the schedule tomorrow. Does that sound fair? And because they're so adamant about getting their windows clean once, they will pay an extra $50 to not be on a plan, right? And again, people are understanding. If you let them know that's how your business is, you are a window cleaning business that has people on service plans and you're doing them a favor by not putting them on a plan and just doing a one-off job for them, they're going to be appreciative of it and gladly pay that extra $50 to $100 to have their windows clean once. Trust me, I've done it. So that's how you make the transition from selling one-time window cleaning jobs to selling recurring contracts in your window cleaning business effectively. I've helped tons of guys in my coaching program how to make the transition from one-time cleans, guys doing over 6 figures a month in one time, to now doing 20, 30K months in recurring revenue. And if you want tailored to you one-on-one help, how to make the transition to service plans in your exact market, I'll put a link down below. We can hop on a call and see if it's a good fit. And if not, I'll continue to put out videos every Thursday, every Sunday. So like and subscribe, drop a comment. To the next one.